Let me be clear. I'm going to combine the two questions.
Well, I think his biggest problem is he's not a MAGA guy, you know? I mean, he's really not. He's not a Trump guy at all. I don't like what he's saying about me. It's just not positive about.
At 12:01 a.m., President Trump stabbed America's best friend in the back. My message to the President is this: Canada will fight back. We will defend our people and our economy, and we will put Canada first.
Hey gang, what's up? Aaron right here, Canadian Looney. Things are getting ferocious in Canadian federal politics, international politics, these U.S. tariffs, Trump's threats. Poilievre is lashing back at Trump in this one, really standing his ground. I don't know if it's good for the political campaign that's going to be coming up here over the summer, but he's taking this stand and fighting back against Trump. Again, I don't know what's going on. I'm not sure. People are saying crazy things are happening in the polls, but you only hear that from the legacy media that's all bought and paid for. They're going to say the polls have changed. That's the way it goes.
There's no doubt that our economy will suffer, but so will yours, President Trump. In fact, you're already paying the price, with trillions of dollars erased in stock market value over the last month of these threats. Already, Americans are paying higher gas prices, as at midnight, a new American gas tax kicked in on U.S. working-class taxpayers and motorists. Your workers will soon start losing jobs they had upgrading Canadian raw materials, which, by the way, you were getting at an incredible and ridiculous bargain. And your businesses will be selling fewer products to your closest neighbor. And that's only the beginning. While Canadians are slow to anger and quick to forgive, once provoked, we fight back. And we will fight back. Now, I'd like to speak to the millions of Canadians who are anxious today after learning that President Trump has attacked our economy, to the auto workers, the forestry workers, the steel and aluminum workers, the mining and energy workers, the truckers, the farmers, to all of you who get out of bed before the sun rises and do the labor of the nation. You are afraid right now, and I understand. I want you to know that I will fight for you. I will fight for your job. I will fight for your family. I will fight for your chance at owning and paying off a home, and I will fight for your retirement. And I will fight to put Canada first. Before these tariffs came in this morning, you must have been asking yourself, how could things get any worse? Before these tariffs, you were already suffering. You wondered how you'd pay the rent or eventually dream of buying a home after housing costs had doubled over the last decade, rising faster than in any other G7 country. You've downgraded your diet as food prices have risen 37% faster in Canada than in the United States over the last 5 years. You might be one of the 2 million people, a record-breaking number, lined up at food banks, a number that has more than doubled before these tariffs applied. You've likely noticed that your paycheck is not keeping up with the record inflation, as Canada's GDP has grown less and lower than any other G7 country over the last decade. You might have noticed that your company has already been moving jobs to the United States, as greedy and self-serving CEOs put their share prices ahead of your job, and $500 billion net has left from Canada to Trump's America under the current Liberal government. And now this.
I think this is where it starts getting really interesting. Like, we're used to hearing Canadian federal politics and Poilievre trashing the Liberals, which is easy to do, agreed. But now he's going to turn his target to Trump. And the American tariffs that are coming, or have been implemented by now. Let's take a look. I don't know if these are the right choices for Pierre. I've agreed with him in most of his choices since I've been watching Canadian federal politics closely, which is about a little over a year and a half. But I don't know about this move. I just don't know. Not saying you're wrong, just I don't know.
Well, I think his biggest problem is he's not a MAGA guy, you know? I mean, he's really not. He's not a Trump guy at all. I don't like what he's saying about me. It's just not positive about me.
In English. Well, I'll answer.
It's about annexing.
Is that what the end game here for Donald Trump?
Let me be clear. I'm going to combine the two questions. The gentleman asked in French about President Trump's comments on me. The president says that he doesn't like me. He doesn't think that I'm a MAGA guy. I am not. It is true that I am Canada first. I am only for Canada. I'm fighting for the interests of this people and this country. And if that upsets foreign leaders, including the American president, I'm fine with that, because I have one job to do, and it's to fight for this country. And let me be also clear. We will never be the 51st state. We will be self-reliant, sovereign, and stand on our own feet. We will be an independent and a sovereign country, and I will always stand up for our flag and our people.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I'm not a conservative. I'm just a thinker that decided to start trying to figure out what was happening in our country. Because back then, I had no clue, like, why my standard of living was changing, like, going down. Now I know. I've got a lot of things figured out.
But I'm here with a message of hope. We will overcome this attack on our economy, and I have a plan to do it. First, we must retaliate, targeting American goods in the following order. A, goods that we can make ourselves. B, goods we don't need. And C, goods we can get from elsewhere. Second, counter tariffs must not be a cash cow for the government. Almost every penny of the tariffs collected should go to tax cuts, with a small sum set aside for targeted relief to workers hardest hit by the trade war. None of the money should go to new government spending and programs. We must not allow politicians to dishonestly use this crisis to once again launch a debt-fueled, money-printing spending spree that will drive up inflation and further destroy the working class and hit the poorest people the hardest.
The president unsure about Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre.
Well, I think his biggest problem is he's not a MAGA guy, you know? I mean, he's really not. He's not a Trump guy at all. I don't like what he's saying about me. It's just not positive about me.
Poilievre punching back. Mr. President, it is true. I'm not MAGA. I'm for Canada first, always. Additional pushback against Trump is more politically challenging for Poilievre, with polling showing over 40% of Conservative voters have a positive view of the president.
Pierre Poilievre, who I've respected all the choices he's made since I've been watching until now. And not that I don't respect this one, but I don't know if it's a good move.
Third, we must immediately pass a bring-it-home tax cut on work, investment, energy, and home building. The idea is to neutralize the cost of the tariffs with lower taxes and incentivize massive new investment in building stuff here in this country. The obvious place to start is to get rid of the liberal carbon tax, then axe the sales tax on new homes. We need to reverse the liberal capital gains tax hike and slash income tax so that hard work pays off and you bring home more of each dollar you earn. Fourth, we must immediately repeal the liberal No New Pipelines Law C-69, a law that not only blocks all pipelines but stops mines, refineries, export plants, and all kinds of other energy infrastructure and makes us hopelessly reliant on one customer, the Americans, a customer we cannot count on anymore. We must greenlight LNG plants that Liberals say there is no business case for, so that we can no longer have to sell our 100% of our LNG, our gas exports to the Americans. We can sell it to Asia and Europe and help break the European dependence on Putin, turning dollars for dictators into paychecks for our people. 5, you know what industry Donald Trump does not control in Canada? Home building. It is a homegrown industry. We must get rid of all taxes and red tape to unleash the biggest home building boom this country has ever seen, bigger than the post-war boom when our heroes were coming back from that war. We need to build homes faster than ever, and that means removing the bureaucracy, the red tape, the taxes, and the gatekeepers, and I will make it happen. That will also boost the demand for softwood lumber, The loggers are suffering after Biden hit them with tariffs already. And 6, let's get our provinces together to knock down trade barriers so that we can lower prices and boost wages for our people. 7, we must secure our borders and rebuild our military to assert our sovereignty and strength in the world. All these things, axing taxes, building homes, unleashing construction of our resources, fixing the budget, stopping crime, all of these things were conservative fixations before the tariffs. Now they are even more necessary. But none of these things have happened in the last 100 days since Trump first launched his tariff threats. Look behind me. Parliament has been closed. Liberals shut it down to focus on their political battles. So the job-killing carbon tax is still in place. The sales tax is still in place on new homes. The No New Pipelines law still in place. The massive inflationary deficits still in place. Not one law has been changed. Not one tax has been cut. Not one action has been taken to free us from the grip of Trump and the U.S. We need change, and we will get change. It will be tough. Building Canada was tough, and so are Canadians. We will bring home the country we know and love and restore its promise. Canada will be self-reliant, sovereign, and stand on its own 2 feet. We will build on the great legacy and vision of John A. Macdonald of uniting our country east to west. We'll reward work, unleash entrepreneurs, harvest resources, make our own goods, trade with each other, build homes for our youth, rebuild our borders and military, honor our history, and raise our flag. What binds us together is the Canadian promise that anyone from anywhere can achieve anything, that hard work gets you a great life in a beautiful house on a safe street protected by solid borders and brave troops under a proud flag. To preserve that flag and its promise, we must work together, fight together, and win together. That is what it means to put Canada first, because Canada is worth fighting for our people, for our land, for our home, for our country. Let's bring it home.
Do you agree with the tariffs? What do you think, Donald Trump? What do you think, Donald Trump?
Let us know in your thoughts and comments if this is the right move for the Conservatives and Poilievre to be making, attacking back on Trump or trying to get along, force an election. The Liberals are rolling with this, so the polls say. I don't believe any of that bullshit. I hope you don't either, but be aware that it's out there. Possibly it's some truth to it. Like, these dim-wit Liberals have been out of the limelight for a number of months. That's going to help. All their scandals and scams have been covered up. We have no committee meetings anymore. Like, there are no investigations into Canadian government corruption. It's wild. What a farce. Aaron, Canadian Loney, like, share, subscribe. Thank you for watching this video. Check out some of the other ones. We've got a lot more coming. Get ready for the live show. I cannot wait for Parliament to resume when it does the end of March. Cannot wait. That's it. Thank you for watching the video. Catch you next time.
Sorry, I didn't get a chance to say that in English. The question was, have the Liberals done enough on fentanyl, and is that a good justification for Trump's tariffs? And the answer to both questions is no and no. No, the Liberals have not done enough on fentanyl, but not because they should have been doing it for Trump. They should have been doing it for Canadians. We've lost 50,000 people to fentanyl. That's more than died in the Second World War. And that is because of the weak borders, the soft laws, and the radical liberalization of drugs that the Liberals experimented with and that they want to continue on with. I would ban the drugs, add 2,000 CBSA border guards, more surveillance towers, scanners, and drones to interrupt the illegal entry of fentanyl into our country. And I would treat fentanyl dealers for what they are. They are mass murderers, and they will get life sentences when I'm Prime Minister. But let's be clear, that is not a justification for tariffs. We have guns, drugs, and illegal migrants coming from the United States to Canada. We have never tariffed the Americans for that. If the president wants to fight fentanyl, I agree with him, but I would do it not for President Trump. I would do it for Canadians so that not one more mother gets the knock on the door from a police officer telling her that her son has died in a back alley.
Do you believe that this is about annexing Canada?
support package, whatever you want to call it, require reopening the House and passing legislation. Is this something you're open to doing, even if it requires supporting the Liberals on
Well,
confidence
we
matters?
should have had the House open for the last 2 months. Well, we haven't. That's a question for the Liberals. They're the ones that shut down Parliament, and that's why we haven't had those debates.
In Canadian federal politics, the Canucks are represented by two separate yet unequal groups: the globalists who sold out and the opposition trying to salvage a country. These are their stories.